YouTube, what's going on? It's Rob with Spray or Splash Fragrance Reviews, and this is going to be 2025, my year in review, kind of like a run through of fragrances I copped last year. If you're interested in finding out what those fragrances were, please stay tuned. 2025 presented a lot of changes. Fragrance wise, it is, I want to say, in a long time, probably within the last 15 plus years, this is the least amount of fragrances I've purchased in a calendar year. I want to say I picked up about 18 frags in 2025. For the person that maybe is not a fragrance enthusiast or they don't create content, that may seem still like a lot of fragrances, but it is not really a lot. And I'm actually happy about that. I want to be trending down versus trending up. I have so many fragrances. And before I did this video, I kind of looked out on the landscape of videos and, a lot of the, newer content creators and a lot of frags that people are talking about and a lot of different brands, niche and indie. And I'm like, wow, I'm not really in that circle, but I've never really been in the circle anyway. I have what I have, and I'm happy with the fragrances I acquired last year. So I'm going to try to run through them as quickly as possible. Just giving you a little bit of information. So if something about it, sounds interesting, you can go out, do your own research, and maybe check it out for yourself. First fragrance is a fragrance I want to say I picked up maybe May or June. I can't remember exactly. It is called Patchouli of the Underworld, Electimus. And I would say right off the rip, this is not a fragrance for everyone. This is not a blind buy fragrance. You definitely want to get a sample, check it out first, because it is as daring as the name sounds. It's not that daring, but it's just not the type of fragrance that people are going to just love at first sniff. What you basically get, in my humble opinion, is this blend of a powdery note, which is really not my favorite note, but it's actually done nicely in this fragrance. You've got this I don't want to say baby powder, but like in that realm of powderiness on one side, and then on the other side, you've got this really dry, like almost dusty feel, right? And then you've almost got like this, what I would say is like a geranium, almost like kind of minty freshness, just sprinkled on the top of that, right? And then you go and you sandwich that with what feels like almost like a oily, like leather vibe. And then you take that and you bring in some really like dry, earthy patchouli, and then some woods, and you just let that marinate, and it kind of just works through those notes and eventually smooths out, and it wears like Egoist by Chanel, or Ovation by Sean Crenshaw. Not to say that it smells like those fragrances, or even like a Ormond Man by Ormond Jane. Doesn't smell like those fragrances. However, it wears like those fragrances. It's got this warmth to it where it feels like it's almost like having on a really heavy, thick scarf on a cold day. It kind of keeps you warm. It's a very comfortable fragrance. But again, it is not for everyone. Try before you buy. I actually enjoyed it, and my son wore it to work today, and it was really interesting to smell it on somebody else versus just me smelling it off of myself. And I like smelling it on him. I was like, oh, it smells good. I feel like the powderiness on him was really more elevated, but I think it's a really nice fragrance. I want to say I got this for about 140, 130-ish on sale when I picked it up. Don't know what it's priced at right now, but I think it's a nice one. So Patchouli of the Underworld, Electimus. I've got two sandalwood fragrances back to back. The first is from the house of Narciso Rodriguez, and this is Santal Musk. I believe the fragrance is targeted to women, but I truly believe this is a unisex fragrance. It is of the smooth, creamy buttery smooth, almost lactonic, like sandalwood, mixed with that, classic Narciso Rodriguez musk. If you know, you know. The musk never overtakes the sandalwood. I want to say at the height, maybe the musk is 40 and the sandalwood is 60, but it never goes more than that. It's more about the sandalwood. It's a very nice designer sandalwood release. The price point is, I think, between 80 to $100. I think it's worth it. If you like sandalwood and you're looking for like a designer sandalwood that is simple but well executed, check it out. I really like this one. Santal Musk, Narciso Rodriguez. Second sandalwood based fragrance is from the house of Killian, and this is Sacred Wood. Um, this had been on my radar for a long time. A lot of people praise this fragrance, and I'm going to say I really enjoy it myself also. I don't think it's one for everyone, but I think it's a very well done sandalwood. I know a lot of folks call this like this is a standard. This is a reference sandalwood. I'm not going to speak to that. I'm going to say that I really enjoy it. You definitely want to get your nose on it first. And I say that because this is kind of what I get in the fragrance. Of course, it's got like a smooth sandalwood, but it's almost like you've got that. And then just behind it would almost be like this really smoky, like incensey wood feel that kind of sits behind the sandalwood. And then there is some like resinous, almost feels like this, like myrrh or something like that in there. But then with the combination of notes for this fragrance, I feel like every now and then you kind of get like this almost like hint of like a deal note, but it's faint. It just comes and goes. And I think that might turn some people off. But I really enjoy it. It wears well. It smells of quality. It's not as smooth to me as the Santal Musk, but quality wise, the quality is there and you can tell it, and it feels like it's just as good or better quality wise than the Santal Musk. But as far as just like appeal, I think the Santal Musk might appeal to more people, but this is a well done sandalwood fragrance. And I guess for the masses would be that churchy incense type wood smell that kind of sits behind the sandalwood. And I guess I get why it's called Sacred Wood. It does have like this, this feel, like a spiritual feel to it, so to speak, but very well done. And I actually got this secondhand. I bought this off of somebody. I forgot. I don't know if I bought it off of eBay or there's another site that I use secondhand stuff. I'm having a brain fart, but I want to say I picked it up for maybe like about 140, 150, 120 to 150, somewhere in that range is what I picked it up for. And I think this is the original presentation also. So really nice one. Sacred Wood, Killian. From the House of Olfactive Studio, this is Close Up. I have quite a few from this house. I really dig a lot of their fragrances. And this one is so cool in that it's got cherry as like the main note. And cherry is one of those notes that are becoming more and more popular. You're seeing them in more and more new releases. I feel like cherry and plum, those are like the two new like hot notes you see a lot. But, the difference is this fragrance dropped in like 2017, 2018, something like that. And the cool thing about it is it's got like a little bit of stank with it, a little bit. Like it's an animalic, kind of like a chord that's kind of under that cherry. So it kind of keeps it balanced. So it's not this overly sweet, almost feminine, because sometimes cherry can kind of come off kind of girly. It's not that at all. Then it's got tobacco too. It's got some other stuff going on, but it's almost like, it feels like it's cherry, tobacco. And to me, I feel like I get a little bit of leather. I don't know if leather is listed as a note, but it's got this definite edge to it. I want to say I copped this for about 110. And, a little hint, if you don't know, Fragrance Net, they've got a lot of the olfactive studio releases on their site at a really, nicely discounted price point. Worth checking out if there's anything from this house that you like. Not really certain if this house is still in business or not, because I don't see any new releases ever. And I've been checking for like 2 or 3 years. It seems like it's always the same fragrances on the gray market websites, and I don't see anything new. If you know anything about the company, put it down below in the comments. I'd like to know about that. But one that I think a lot of people would enjoy, Close Up Olfactive Studio. From the house of Atelier des Ors, this is Noir by Night. This, in my opinion, is a very attractive fragrance. It is like incense. It's got like this salty marine accord to it, almost like ambergris or ambergris in it. It's kind of balsamic. It's got like a little bit of like this sandalwood, like creaminess in the base. I think it's a very, very like GQ. I am wearing like a nice, well-fitted shirt. I've got on tailored pants, some killer, shoes on, nice black belt, black watch, or black and camel colors, the combination. Or maybe you're wearing like a dark gray something, but it just has like this feel of being dressed to impress. That's kind of what I get out of the fragrance. I don't really see anybody talking about the fragrance in FragCom. It doesn't mean nobody's talked about it, but I don't really see people bring it up. And I really think this was a very, very solid release that needs a little bit of limelight. I'd like to see people talk about it and, hear other people chime in on what they think. If you've tried it, put it in the comments. I'd like to know what you guys think about this one, but one I really enjoy. Noir by Night, Atelier des Ors. I'm going to say this is a remix of a classic. It's hard to take something that was really, really well done and, do a flanker of it and make it just as good. I know people are going to say it's not just as good, but I think in time it'll be considered just as good. This is Eau de Parfum Intense, Terre de Hermes. And if you don't know, they took the original DNA and kind of flipped it some, and they added like this coffee note to it. And it's almost got like this anise licorice vibe mixed in with that. The woods feel a little different. It's really well done. I think about this almost the same way I thought about like Eau Très Fresh when they added that to the Terre de Hermes line. Like, it was a really well done summer fragrance. Perfect combination of like the Terre de Hermes DNA and like a wateriness. This one is like just like a freak on the original, and that coffee and licorice note really change it and give it a different feel. And I think in time people are going to like this one as much. I know some people don't like this one. I really like it, and it was one of the ones I copped last year. So this is the Eau de Parfum Intense Terre de Hermes. A house I don't really talk about too often, and I really haven't purchased anything from these guys in a really long time. From the house of Ralph Lauren, this is Deep Blue Parfum. I actually came across this one when I was looking for something at Nordstrom Rack online, and I ran across this fragrance, and it was final sale. And I want to say it was either like 60 or 55 bucks, somewhere around there. And then I had like some naughty bucks, and I was like, I jumped on Fragrantica to kind of see what people said about the fragrance, and it was like pretty positive. So I was like, okay, so I wonder if this is actually getting discontinued or not. And what it is basically, they say it's got mango. I can't really make out the mango. It just seems like it is like a deep blue, kind of marine aquatic Ambroxan bomb. That's kind of that's what it feels like. It's got like a little grapefruit at the top, a little geranium, it's fresh and clean. Nothing you haven't smelled before. You've smelled this profile or DNA before, but it is nice. And for the guy who doesn't have, a lot of fragrances, and you want to have a nice one that you can just spray and go and don't think about, dumb reach, gym bag, really hot type, really hot weather fragrance, this is one I think is worth checking out if you can. from the house of Ralph Lauren, Deep Blue Parfum. One of the best smelling fragrances I picked up last year from the house of Hermes. This is El Hombre des Marvelas. For warm weather, killer. The smell is just killer. It's got like this fizziness to it, almost like a candied, I don't even know what a candy like violet, but I don't think it's violet. It's got like tea in it. It's got tonka. It's got a little bit of smoke. Got a pop. It's just really, really nice. I think it's a head turner. It's not like this beastly fragrance that it super projects. It's going to be with you all day. I really see this as kind of like a 5-6 hour fragrance. You go into a special occasion. It's warm outside. You're going to spray this. You're going to spray this on. Go hang out for an hour or two and then bounce. That's kind of what I see it as being. But it's impressive to me. I think it's an impressive smelling fragrance. I'm really surprised. I've never really seen people talk about it, but get your nose on it. El Hombre des Marvelas from the house of Hermes, stunner. I want to say I was on fragrancebuy.ca before they did the split and gave, the US customers like I think Flex something, which was like the secondary site. I got it from Fragrance by CA, and this is Versace Eros. I never had this one, and I saw them release the Parfum, and I kind of had this like my eye on it for a minute. It was in my little shopping cart, and then one day I just pulled the trigger and got it. And I think Eros is a nicely done fragrance. I know a lot of folks were talking about this one for years. I know I'm late to the party. I just wasn't interested, but I've gotten it. The Parfum, I read people say that it's the most grown up, smoothed out version of the fragrance. It doesn't shout, and I like what it does. It's basically what I see it as being like this nice lavender vanilla type feel. And it's kind of got the current DNA of what a lot of men's fragrances are doing currently. And from time to time, I can put that on and go and blend right in. And, it is what it is. It's a tester. It's a nice fragrance. I'm not going to dog it at all. I like the way it smells, and it's going to definitely get some wearings from me. And I think it's a solid release. And I know people love it like crazy. It just never interests me when it was, getting all the hype. So I finally added the Parfum version to my collection. So Versace Eros Parfum. All right, so I'm in the mall with my wife during the Christmas holidays. I walk up to a counter, spray a fragrance, and I really had no intent on buying this fragrance, but my wife just kept going on and on and on about how much she liked it. Oh, that smells so good. Oh, I really like that one. And that's more than I ever get from my wife. My wife does not really go Google over fragrances, but she really seemed to enjoy this one. So I said I might as well add it to the collection. And this is El Exclusive from Bleu de Chanel. I totally love the Parfum. I had no intent on getting another release from that line. I felt like the Parfum was perfection. I didn't need anything else, but I got this one to appease the wife. What I feel like it is, and I know you guys might disagree, but it just seems like it's like they took the Parfum and they made it a little sweeter, and they toned the incense down some. That's kind of what I feel like is the main difference. I haven't worn it enough to really get beyond that, but I do feel like it's like a little sweeter. I feel like the opening is a little more, I guess, appealing or mainstream feeling than the Parfum. Even though the Parfum is still a mainstream fragrance, I felt like the darkness of the Parfum really gave it its edge. But added this one. I want to say I got it. I want to say it was $205, and then I had some naughty bucks, and I used that to drop the price down. So I got it at a decent price. I mean, it's super high for a 60 mil. But still, I mean, a lot of the fragrances now, man, they're just like the prices are just ridiculous for these designer fragrances, but that's what they're charging. People are buying them, so the price is going to kind of continue like that. So, and you don't really see Chanel at the discounters, so I got it in the collection. And hopefully it'll make some additional videos in the future where I can tell you more about the fragrance when I've worn it more and I see how it really performs when that weather begins to warm up. So again, from the house of Chanel, Bleu de Chanel, El Exclusive. Two really nice ones from the house of Boss. I've got the Boss bottled Absolute and the Elixir. Not gonna really speak on these too much because these have been talked about to death. I prefer the Absolute. I think the Elixir is a little more resinous. I feel like that myrrh note is more prominent. They're both really good. I know these were really good sellers for this brand, and they've got a lot of love in Fragcom. I think these are pretty safe blind buys, even though I don't recommend blind buys. I think you would be safe to get either one. Very well done designer fragrances, and the prices aren't like out of this world. So, from the house of Boss, again, Boss bottled Elixir and the Boss bottled Absolute. From the house of Hermes, again, this is H24 Herb Vives. Won't really speak on this one too much. This is a great springtime and summer fragrance. I think it's the best of the three. Pear note, it's killer, very green, watery. It just smells quality. To me, it feels like it's a vacation fragrance. Feel good, good mood, good vibrations, frag for me. Really enjoy it. I know the H24 line, it's kind of like a love-hate, thing. I don't think it was as well received as I expected it to be because I bought the EDT, loved it, and thought folks were going to just be the same way, and they really haven't been. But of the three, Herb Vives, really nice. This would be the one I would recommend first to, the largest group of people because I think it's kind of got I feel like they perfected it. They perfected the fragrance. It's got a wateriness to it. The pear note is just the right amount of sweet, just the right amount, perfect balance, simple, well done. H24 Herb Vives. From the house of Mugler, this is Fougère Furice from the Last Exceptions line. And I know I probably butchered that name, but this is a well done Fougère fragrance. Very simple. I feel like they've added a little bit of mintiness to the Fougère DNA. I don't want to say too much. It just works. If you like the Fougère DNA, it's just a more updated version. It's simple, to the point. It works. Is it the best Fougère that you can get? No. But if you are just looking to have a nice designer level Fougère that works and does what it does well, I think this is a great one to have. I mean, it's not going to be the best of the best, but if you needed to have one that you can wear more often and maybe save the best one for special occasions, this is a great one, in my humble opinion. Mugler, Les Exceptions, Fougère Furice. Coming down to the last few, this is the last designer fragrance in the bunch. This is from the house of Mont Blanc, and this is Black Meisterstruck. This is, to me, like a kind of a woody, ambery, a little bit of smoke, kind of like a balsamic fragrance, dark. It's designer for sure, but it's got a very, very nice feel. I'm trying to think, what could I say is like it in my collection? I would say maybe it's kind of got like a almost like a John Varvatos feel to it. If you think about some of his fragrances like Vintage and I think maybe, I don't know if the first one is Ohm, but it's kind of got that feel. It's kind of got like a classic masculine feel to it. And I really like it. And I wore it recently when I went back to Chicago, and a lot of folks said you smelled really good. And I think this is like just above the entry level for Mont Blanc. They've got I think 3 or 4 fragrances within this bottle style. And I really like this one, Black Meisterstruck. All right, so the last 3 are from the house of Zaharoff. All right, I bought all 3 myself. First one is the third in the creation from the Zed creators. This is Justin's fragrance. This is Seamless Soul. This is the follow-up to Second Soul. And you kind of get that DNA a little bit in this fragrance. I feel like it's kind of The biggest change with this fragrance is I feel like the opening. It's got like a really nice, like bright, sparkly citrus and apple type top. And it's got a little bit of like smoke somewhere in there. But I really feel like that the Second Soul DNA kind of like still shines in the base. So it still kind of has that classic masculine fougere-like feel, when you get to the heart of the fragrance, but they really like, added some nice little subtle nuances to the fragrance that, make it shine and make it very appealing. And I think this is a really nice modernization of what Second Soul is. I really think that they kind of like added more of what I think people are gravitating to today in the fragrance with the opening, but it's still like it's got Justin all over it. If you ask me, I think it's a really well done fragrance and I really enjoy it. So this is Seamless Soul Zaharoff. Next two are from the Seraphim line. I've got the Seraphim Musk and the Seraphim, I believe it's Coos. Seraphim Musk. What can I say about that one? Seraphim Musk is a nice musk fragrance. I don't know if it's a musk that everybody's going to enjoy. It's kind of got like a mentholated feel to it. It's one that you have to wear multiple times and you start to get it and you start to enjoy it. I think it's a really well done musk fragrance, but it's not a mainstream musk fragrance. I think it has a little bit of an edge to it, a little bit of bite to it, where I feel like typically musk has got this like warmth to it, and it is a very appealing smell that's in so many fragrances. And when it's the star, I mean, I recognize it right away, and they definitely gave this some edge. They gave it some edge for sure. And I think it's a well done musk, and I think over time people will really like it. But just right out the gate, first sniff, just spraying it on your skin and just like, what do you think? I think the average person is going to be like, whoa, it's kind of, I don't know. They're not going to really be able to, I don't think they're going to get the mentholated part right away, but I think it's nice. I like it. Seraphim Musk. And then this Seraphim Kush or Kuss, it's like a elevated vetiver. Well, I feel like it's got like this waxiness to it. And it kind of almost like candle wax, a melted candle wax feel to it versus like the makeup bag feel. It's got a bit of earthiness to it. It's got like a dryness to it. But it's well done. I think this is a dress up vetiver. I really feel like I tend to associate vetiver with a lot of like masculine fragrances, and I think I also associated with like hot weather fragrances. Something about vetiver in hot weather, the grassiness or the dryness of it, I think it goes with that. But this to me, it just speaks to like an elevated feel, almost like the Noir by Night. I really see this as a fragrance that when you are trying to impress, dressed up, trying to make a really great impression, classy, a little understated, but it speaks for itself. I think it's a well done vetiver, and I really like it. And I'm a vetiver fan, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. And that's Seraphim Kuss, I believe that's how it's pronounced. So those are the fragrances I picked up in 2025. Let me know some of the ones you guys picked up. It was the, I guess, least amount of purchases I made in one calendar year, I think in the last 10, 15 years, period. But I like that I'm trending down, as I said in the beginning. I like that I'm trending down. There's not a whole lot that I'm looking to get. If I could get to where I maybe pick up one fragrance every 2 or 3 months, I would be fine with that. And just focus on getting really, really good releases that add something to my collection. So I hope the video found you well. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do some more content soon. I'm in a new space. I don't have anything set up just yet. So this was really on the fly. Your boy just wanted to get something out. And again, I hope it found you well. Talk to you guys soon. Later.